We are live, InShalla and Ashe. Just saying that out loud. Blessings to you, my energetic beings. What is the frequency of peace? Simple things that really align with our heart. Anything that aligns with self-love, loving our inner self within, from the inside to the outside. So we are kind of in the realm of wisdom on a Wednesday. It's January 26, 2022. So welcome to today's daily snippet. I, again, am your host, a practicing holistic Sha'medium, merging the indigenous technologies with the subtle energetic fields, adding some juice there. It's the spirit of Africa with the elements, the elemental beings, the imaginal realm, and the elemental realm, and really kind of so much more, otherworldly, of course. Doing offerings, rituals, and prescriptions to really add all the ingredients into your own personal container. My intention truly is to merge the indigenous technologies of Africa, the wisdom, with the subtle realms to assist you into navigating your prime directive, just reintroducing you to and through the being that resides within you. My name is Tonya D, and welcome to my virtual medicine room. If you're interested in a card for your day, simply like, comment, and of course share the show. Really helping me is also assisting and helping you as well. But as far as the cards of the day, I went with my ethereal deck, or what I see as ethereal or etheric, the future, a breakthrough in the envelope of our galactic future. The moon herself is in Scorpio, and it hasn't quite cascaded to my realm as of yet, but it will be there soon. So it's like our emotional limits that are holding us back turning into a fortune. So it's kind of super exciting and, really pushing the envelope or just opening it, really. So we have all of this in the cosmos, and music itself is the universal language of mankind, said Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. So yeah, the sounds, right? Tonalities, the unheard sounds. But we have the Page of Wands. So she's got this confidence and she's got this excitement of childlike wonder. And she's playing an instrument there, and she's sending out that sound, the sound of these messages out into the galaxy. It's a flexible sound that dances in a rotating rhythm, a song of trust and determination. She's flexible in her beats and her bustling through these rhythms and the sounds, and just really making anybody who hears them, it's so appealing to them that it's so galactically hard to resist. So she's smiling and she's understanding now that she was the center of attention. And she's drawing in all the attention, as you can see, of all the living creatures in the forest there at her feet. So we've got this excitement and we've got this oneness that's spreading out into the air. It's coming from above and below, within the kingdoms, from the open sea to the sky. It's just all of the juice. And she's whispering for them to come to her with the sound. So there's like this signal for us to hear the sound in the gathering and in the flowing, getting into the flow. So can you see that little stringed instrument there that she's playing, and all the little living beings, the non-humans gathered around her there at the base as well? They're kind of all over. Some of them are ethereal. They're in the realm. They're non-human beings, or what we would say was a non-human. But the Page of Wands really represents our passion and our creativity, having a witty nature, full of charisma, sharing it out into the crowd, and her intuition in her own personal philosophy. So she's the type of energy or person who knows what she thinks, needs, and wants. So in the necessary kind of situations, she's going to directly just fight openly for any of her views or opinions. So perhaps this could be a young lady that's carrying her in that direction of being a teacher, always eager to teach and having all the foundations of that wisdom, of that knowledge, like the bright rays of initiative and creativity. So she's sending us words of encouragement about in-depth, possibly otherworldly research. So from there and looking for those opportunities, although this can reach personal negative points such as fear or laziness, having apprehension, being apprehensive. So this action can also contain many potential benefits. So sometimes we realize that the best reward really comes from doing whatever it is, to just simply feeling good about ourselves inside and out. And in doing so, it's encouraging us or everyone to start working on the idea right now in the moment. not just immersed in the secretly dreamy thoughts that are floating in the airwaves, just taking action at this point. You know, it's really important. So can you kind of hear the tunes in her song kind of echoing in your ears? Can you hear the charming, sweet voice and the whispering of those otherworldly, inspiring melodies? So let's try to hear what our heart or our mind is telling us at the moment. So it's like words like courage or recklessness or optimism, leadership, encouragement, passion, charisma, of course, unexpected events, being enthusiastic, representing curiosity and our desire to explore, to learn, and lean into the future. Just being excited about what we are doing and any responsibility and seeing them as new opportunities that really bring interesting feelings. So you almost will enjoy them without knowing that every mission really contains, you know, we always have challenges and crazy things of adversity coming at us or problems. But the Page of Wands kind of represents the spirit of curiosity within the creativity. So it's like regarding immediate problems as an opportunity to learn and also to cultivate. So we could think of a variety of great ideas, but lack the confidence to do it. Sometimes this card has an otherworldly meaning where we are staying in the optimistic venue because it's not otherworldly today. So I like the idea of hearing the sound of spirit. However, our soul's harmonic. It's also our throat center, Vishuddha. So it's the abundance of health and spirit when we embark on something new. That makes us have this otherworldly source of energy flowing through us. So then we lucidly, even like dreaming, we start to enjoy everything and feeling that joy. So it's also pointing that it's a stage where we should calm down, take care of ourselves more, keeping the optimism no matter what is happening in our frequency. So we are in possession of this elevated energy when this card appears. It's like elevating with this admirable kind of fighting spirit, just being interested and curious about all the little tasks at hand, the little minute details. And the interest, sometimes it disappears quickly. That kind of leads to those contradictions. So then we kind of have these internal battles that are preventing us from acting out of fear of risking things if we are strong enough or smart enough. And then we realize this is getting the Page of Wands. So we can completely overcome our limits and kind of move forward with all of our passions. So it's like, let's think carefully and wake up every source of energy in our bodies, whether it's in our fields, our pathways, our centers, all the juice, another realm, even another dimension, whatever that is. So it's entirely possible that we're going to succeed if we literally take advantage of our own innate courage in time and space. So it's kind of demonstrating that what we have started doing before is kind of progressing and moving forward to success. But it's also indicating a need or a sign for something new, maybe a new adventure, a new venture, a new solution, a new idea. But it really is bringing in the positive energy, the ingredient of positivity. But we also need to actually pursue it to the end to determine to also do those things. So for myself, I've also been creating my Voices of the Otherworld immersion. And this kind of feels as if the sound of the other world. So Saturday is going to be all about the element of fire. And being that we are in a year of fire in the Dagara cosmology, I could say the juice totally is on for this. And I'm super excited and elevated for it. It's otherworldly, and I'm a fire element. Not that you could tell. Then we have the Six of Wands. And look at that. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little person all cuddled up in the comforts of the swan. Their eyes are gradually closed and just letting themselves relax, feeling into those feathers and just, cuddling in, really. You could kind of see and feel that the wings are kind of tightening up and caressing and just laying in there being held, right? And then all of a sudden, because this is how it happens, hi Stephanie, unexpectedly the swan soars into the sky and then his body falls, he's exhausted and the willpower, but the swan brings him back up. So this person suddenly is kind of like hunkered in, bent over and hugging on the back of the swan. And all he can do is kind of really trust the swan with the strength and the decision to decide on the direction. And knowing that the swan has the power and the stamina and the energy to fly through the night, and its wings aren't exhausted, they don't seem to be tired. So it's this enduring strength entailed with every beat, this echoing in the wings, producing this warmth and this vitality. So the flow of the energy is kind of spread out, if you will, following to his pores and permeating in his body and soul little by little. So the dawn is kind of releasing every stream of sunlight out into the sky. You can see it kind of swirling. So finally, the little person on the swan opens their eyes a little bit. They're awake and they're watching the scenery kind of drift away. It's kind of like in the morning when we first wake up, Sometimes the destination seems way too far away. However, we have this realization within us that sometimes it's hard to believe a lot of things. We might have anguish, we might have pain, we might have fear, an experience of fear, but it's only a small part that the world can kind of create. We're all little starlights, if you will. But there's like a storm ripping into the air, and these nosy little places, they're like calibrating. They've just kind of passed by. But of all the sounds, they seem to be useless. Maybe they're falling upon deaf ears. Sometimes that happens. So all we can do is keep our eyes moving forward. The clouds are fading in the distance. We might be seeing in between another realm. That's kind of what that looks like to me. But he can't see really where the swan is taking us. So it's like moving the clouds in front of us so we can see to the other side. So just knowing, we can smile and see out into the future a little bit and spreading out our own juice throughout our own body. So this is kind of representing a liberation, like releasing from difficulties, hardships. It's just an opportunity to calm down after the pain that we've kind of flowed through or experienced. There's a lot of trouble and changes going on everywhere, literally, right? Maybe that's going to discourage us a little bit, but we have to find a way to stay above the thread. So change is in the air. It's time to reconcile. There's a calmness. It's going with the flow. It's like this journey. So when the Six of Swords appears, it really means this is a great time to move or travel in any way, whatever that appears like. But it also implies like a metaphor about a prospect of achieving a new venture, a new development, a change within our beingness. So often this change is really in a better direction. It's kind of like both internally and externally. What we resist kind of persists, so kind of accepting, shoving it aside and moving forward, flowing. So we can think about where we truly want to go, who we want to be, in doing so. So it kind of shows a slight decrease in the feeling of tension or restraint, stretching our bodies, getting in the flow. And that everything may not be perfect at the present thread, but actually gradually change is a better way, than what happened in the past. So we should take this time to kind of maintain and hope, be hopeful, and decide where we truly want to go and where we are going to go. Even a few like short little breaks or changing different circumstances will really have galactic benefits for each and every one of us. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to cost money, because a lot of times we associate that. And it doesn't promise great joy either, or it's not even the ultimate disappointment. So it's like the swamp is not really a bottomless pit. It's merely a place where like sadness and despair are kind of present in those thread lines. So when we see the swords in a spread, even though, circumstances might not be ideal, we are still moving towards new. We're still opening the door to a more positive place and space. And opportunities are always there. New and more hopeful conditions, opening that door. So the Six of Swords kind of indicates that we're going to have trips to the next time. The move is not necessarily for business or travel. It's just change. And we can move or change in some areas of our life, whether that's our work, it could be a relationship, could be moving to a new house. And it could be taking trips away from home, even, across the seas. Who knows, right? But on the other hand, it could kind of imply that we are progressing even through, or though we might not be feeling it, everything is really moving. It might feel like a snail, might feel slow, but what we're wishing and dreaming is kind of being realized. However, in some situations, it thinks that our life is going in an unexpected direction. So it's kind of announcing a transformation, a change. It's kind of implying that pain and loss that might make us feel exhausted, but we're going to reach another stage of our life at this time in this journey. So we're going to have to let go of the things that we've been attached to. You might feel discomfort, but the pain's going to quickly pass over time and space. And really, the only way to get rid of deadlock is to leave them and really start over. This might feel like we're running away and kind of being a coward, but this is the only way at the current moment. So it's kind of the advice to think about the inevitable things in a positive way, like seeing things with a beneficial outcome, no matter what it is, instead of resisting the change and living in the past, where we can stand up and like get out by ourselves even. What we need to do is really move forward now and not really look back. It's kind of the message. So, I mean, swords sometimes get a bad rap too, kind of like the fives, but we can see positivity in anything, right? If we so choose. And then I have the 10 of Pentacles. This is kind of, reminds me of a mage in a way, or maybe that's what I want to see. But she's covered herself. She's got layers of silk and clothes and magnificent golds and pieces of juicy jewelry, you know, and just musing about the outfits. She's showing clearly, she's showing off her wealth, right? She's got this ostentatious mask, which a lot of people wear out in society, that they're well off or rich in life. But she's always looking for ways to kind of withdraw and kind of muse about or hide from the dragon who's hoarding the wealth down in the valley. I don't know if you can see the dragon. But the winds of change are whispering and the ancient secrets to the surrounding woods. So winds whisper, right? I don't know if you ever thought about that, but there's whispering in the winds and the trees. They carry messages to the trees. Just something strange that my brain goes in. But the trees themselves are kind of wrapped with their roots tightly in those gold blocks below. And they're covering the leaves to shield them from the eyes of the dragon, if you will. So the world is like all these colorful, blissful frames. It's a world of art. It's a world of wealth. And she's holding, I don't know if you can see it, but she's holding this juicy little peach in her hand. It's a big peach. Reminds me of a Georgia peach, but in the Chinese, the peach is a symbol of immortality and prosperity. So being a traditionalist, that's kind of what the card represents. It's based on establishing the norms and the standards and understanding things better than anyone else, because it was the rules that made it possible for her to reach her present social status, the rules, right? So there really is no random luck here, which is the juice of this card. So she's always a model in life and in the world, like this colorful glass surrounding her, stained glass windows, if you will, seeing through the stained glass windows. And the windows, I don't know if you've ever seen them, they're generally created by people that are very skillful with their hands. They're artisans in a way. But the appearance of it here is a result of this long, sustained artistic process. It almost makes me feel like going to cathedrals in Europe where they've got the old stories. You know, stories are always woven in the threads of murals or carpets, rugs, you know, they are amazing. But that's kind of the energy there. It's like this ancient wisdom. So it's being viewed as this fleeting energy, this frequency that's contained within it. It's like old money is kind of what it represents. But she knows that, and she's got this position of her own hard work to sustain, to get herself there. She's got her own beliefs. But it shows it's inheritance. It's the inheritance of wealth, of our financial desires to kind of be enduring forever and ever and ever with security, holding the ground. Kind of a message that we kind of need to cherish the luxuries that we already have, whether we realize they're a luxury or not. And that luck that we have, it's coming to us, actually. So this is the outcome that people really want to receive in the material world. The juice, right? Which is then a result of our long-term efforts going to the goal. One day, it's like the message that we're going to bear the fruit. It's going to be the final reward. We're going to get there. So in conclusion, in a way, you know, we have this great ability that gives ourselves a sustainable position and a benefit or a benefactor. It's prosperity, it's abundance. it's like success, and it's long lasting and sustaining, and it for sure is money and wealth and the stability and having that connection, or even getting financial support, even whether it's from our lineage or inheritance, a legacy, whatever that looks like, just being recognized. So it really is a positive sign for each and every one of us. It could even imply that our material expectations are going to be met to a point that we've never even thought of, otherworldly. So everything's going to be kind of extremely advantageous in a way for each and every one of us. So we've got this assurance, we've got the safety in all forms, whatever that looks like, because we all have our own idea, right? And being just maintained beyond our earthly requirements. So it's kind of telling us that we're going to be happy, but also be an attitude of gratitude for all the things, relationships, financial situations, health, all of it tend to be positive. So we should do our best and just make sure that we share what we have to those that are less fortunate. I like recycling things to people. I don't even see it as regifting. It's just stuff I don't use that somebody else could get the juice out of. And if it blows their skirt up, yay. If not, give it to somebody else, whatever that looks like. So, even if it's advice is a gift, right? And we all kind of need comfort and stuff like that, and just working through it. So it kind of is a card of abundance, obviously. So it's the good things in life that are actually coming to us. It does kind of imply kind of a financial increase that, who wouldn't enjoy that, and feeling the satisfaction of whatever that looks like. But it mostly refers to inheritance. So it's a card of family, traditional values, business, or a family secret maybe might be transmitted from generation to generation. Maybe some ancestral healing is coming, but it really does affirm financial abundance. But it could also predict that we might be influenced by our family routines, family habits, and then we get in the streams of being affected easily. I don't want to say programmed or conditioned, but it's similar to that, by our family culture, which could create challenges of what we do want to succeed at. And we kind of need to open the door and overcome whatever that is. But in general, it just shows that all of our efforts are going to be rewarded, just showing the importance of family to us as well, our foundation sometimes. And the happiness, is related to the finances and to the family. So it's kind of a symbol of, again, financial success, stability in life, and more, just assures that our decisions are going to bring positive things, not just to ourselves, but to our family. Now, family doesn't always have to be blood, by the way. I totally feel that. So it's like achievements that really also help us gain other family members. Sorry, my phone's going off. But yeah, curious cards today. But I'm going to take them. I'm okay with all this juice on myself. I'm not going to lie. Felt pretty juicy, and I'm glad I went with it. So the elemental realm, it's a Yin Earth Rabbit. And anyone else feeling all that earth? There is so much earth, it just feels heavy. But I'm an air person. I'm a star being. I know that. So earth always makes me feel heavy. So it's like, can we get some freedom soon? Oh, or not. Actually, tomorrow we get a dragon on the branch. So more earth stuff happening. But we're finishing up this oxen year. So it's a very yin day, the inhale energy, taking things into the heart, the yin of the heart, our heart center, our love of ourselves, the power center, really of our soul is our heart. But this being yin, it's very yin. It's yin, the day, month, year, up on the stems, all of the branches. It's very inside. So it's like, can we open up and receive? So our little rabbit there has water hidden in the branches of the month and the year, but there's lots of metal to chop at it. It's refined metal. It kind of, to say this out loud, it kind of reminds me of people who have a stick up their ass, quite frankly. Sorry, not sorry. However, I said that out loud. Yes, I sure did. But our day is supported. There's lots of yin earth. There's no resources to create more, however. And earth houses the metal. Metal creates the water, and water nourishes the wood. However, this feels like a dry desert, really, looking at it. Maybe it's a cacti there on the rabbit. A cold, dry desert. So the energy of the rabbit, if you're born between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m., the rabbit has issues about self-esteem and guilt. They truly need to love themselves in order to have a relationship that their heart desires. So it's like if you have lack of self-esteem to whatever degree that might be, what happens is you can move into relationships that are not good for you. And we've all witnessed this, right? For ourselves or others. And generally, you tend to seek partners who are beneath you so you can feel superior, or at the very least, stay at the same level of your self-esteem. Kind of curious, right? So for a rabbit person in the body, it's the hamstrings that can be a problem, as well as the sacrum. So the sacrum relates to sacrifice, which is interesting, sacrificial. And the rabbit will often find themselves sacrificing for the sake of others, really putting themselves last, even though they're hopping around, right? So sometimes the rabbit, and I'm talking about the energy of it, okay, they can put on a false front, a false mask, and be kind of super, even condescending, or a superior rabbit, pretending that they don't care, kind of cleaning and strutting and being oblivious to everybody else's needs, but it's just a protection. And of course, it's for their own sensitive feelings. So as a child, a possibility is that you could have taken on the responsibility for your family, feeling that everything you did was wrong, right? Feeling guilty that you couldn't be better, do better. So the family energy, so the family could be happy. So you're kind of a child who can feel responsible when parents get divorced even. It's stuff like that. So when the rabbit energy takes everything into the intestines, that's the area of letting go energetically, then you could have like lower back problems also, with the sacrum. And it kind of feels like the sacral energy center, but it's also colitis and stuff like that as well. So when there is a sudden attack of constipation, diarrhea, otherworldly things, there really is a self-esteem issue at hand. And I'm talking about the energies, right? But the rabbit has self-worth issues because the family home may not have been so cozy and warm. There might have been distance from family members, not a lot of affection, in particular with the mother, actually. With the rabbit frequency, people that carry a lot of rabbit energy, they long to be held, to be loved, to be touched, to be a part of the whole, the galactic whole, instead of feeling isolated and alone, because the rabbit is kind of self-effacing. And if you think about rabbits, they can really give too much of themselves. Like my neighbor has rabbits. My God, she's got so many bunnies. And every time she separates them, it's almost like they find a burrow and get out and create more. So they really do need to be having a village, right? But what happens when they give too much of themselves, they reach a time when their heart shuts down. Their heart, right? Because they haven't been reciprocated in the give and the receive. They just can't do it anymore. They're burned down. So the rabbit, their life is kind of based upon a need to find a sense of reality and belonging. So it's like heart ailments, a weak voice, blood pressure problems, stuff like that. So it stands from dealing with your home environment. Maybe it needs a cleanse. So if you do have the frequency of the rabbit, and we all have this somewhere, usually in the hour it kind of peaks up, but it's a whole nother story I can't get into. But as a rabbit energy frequency, whether it's the month, day, year, or the hour, quite frankly, you carry this frequency, and you might have reached out for love and found it wanting. So you create an air of detachment. So, a lot of rabbits do this about being kind of touched again. So the rabbit can be kind of, timid, not really shy, but timid and withdrawn in a way because of fear of loss of love, fear of not being good enough, fear of life, fear of sex. So as a rabbit, when your fear takes over, you can feel paralyzed and impotent, really. So this can cause fatigue, malaise, and a general loss of life energy. And the kidneys and the adrenals act up. Again, the sacral energy center. You could have low back pain if you were alienated as a child, put in the corner. But the rabbit gets angry over past transgressions, and then they lash out at the family. So it's kind of like, hissing or scratching or chewing up things because of the lack of love and attention. So they have little tolerance of their father's energy and reacting in kind on the job, kind of suspecting betrayal at every little corner, every little turn. So for healing, which we all need, right? They need to be around people who see them as a sacred space, a very special person, a very unique thread, very special. Belonging is the desire. So they need to find a home where they feel that they fit in, but they also need to tap into their own sexuality and become secure in who they are and really draw in somebody who's going to make them feel safe. So all of these animals have their own frequency, but anger, it can be a good thing as well when it's used constructively. It's a constructive force instead of a degenerative one. But healthy anger can literally flip things around, turn things around, especially if they've gone sideways. So when you decide you don't want to live in a state of unhappiness anymore and take action to make your life meaningful, that's kind of, I think that song, Rise Up, it started as sort of a prayer, actually, if you know that, just thinking about what she needed to hear to be able to get back on her feet. It's kind of what I sense into the rabbit. So it's kind of time to rise up with all this earth energy and be supported by our inner selves, our yin garden, our inner gardener. It's time to really go in just sinking our vibration to where our heart does belong and just opening up and accepting into our heart space what is spiritual truth within us. What is that for each and every one of us? So if we want to shift who we are, we have to accept who we are being. So we inhale who we are and exhale the energy of who we are no longer. That's like the exhale. So it's time to flow that out. Our inner garden really needs tending today. The threads are getting some weeds, if you will. Opt to leave some of the weeds. I don't think all weeds are bad, quite frankly. Weeds can be good as well. I think there's always goodness in something, but it's all perspective. So it's time to open our minds to an otherworldly perspective, insight. So we have otherworldly resources as well, the heavenly realm. So it's like, are you open to receiving from the universe? The juice is in our chalice and just allowing spirit to overflow. So it's this otherworldly operative, accepting who we have been and accepting who we are becoming or who we want to be in the future. It's a radical shift. So just accepting it as this possibility. It's time to create really with the other world what our garden wants to create in the physical. So it's like opening the door to whatever that looks like. And having our heart open to a radical twist. It's a day to accept the transformation that appears to be radical in our tribe and just stay heart-centered as we journey to the center of our own heart. It's all about belonging and relating to our heart space. Having a heart-to-heart, be in the threads of peace, inhale peace if you can, inhale love, gratitude, exhale the ripples, really. Do things that make you love yourself, that might be a pedicure, it might be a donut, hot cup of coffee, people watching at the mall, whatever blows your skirt up really. But just open your heart to feel the peace within yourself and be in those waves, those conscious river streams. Our own personal unique essence is going to light up who we are, just mirroring it out into our energetic field. And just allow spirit to be the guide to forgive and to flow and to surrender and just really opening up our love channel to vibrate that love frequency out into the future, believing in ourselves, to attract the love our heart dreams about. And I'm really not just talking about relationship love either. Just being in a place to accept and receive the truth about what you believe about yourself and holding that authenticity and just notice the feeling that kind of starts bubbling up. Take note of it, if you will. Just kind of restoring our own sense of harmony and balance in the believing, accepting the juice. It really is time, we all have great potential that is really unlimited out into the galactic future, the universe, and manifest it into the future. It's this futuristic energy of what is coming. So do you need to nurture your home, your village, your body? It's time to notice that wealth is truly in our health, right? Do you need to upcycle your nutrition quotient? It's kind of like a radical twist, if you will, or the cleansing of the heart of our home and just releasing things we might be attached to. that you might be just hoarding a little bit. Loving and being kind, that is the energy of self. You know, be your own best friend for a change. We are really going through a phase of letting go of limiting what we can manifest due to the illusion of things that we might have been forced into. So release an old story, the old big picture, accept the new, your future self, whatever that looks like for you. And what comes out is our own natural organic vibration. That's really what's going to flow with that Page of Wands. So we are possibly having a very ethereal kind of day. In essence, that's kind of what the frequency of that was. That's kind of what I resonated with. And this, I love the essential. I went with Ylang Ylang of all things. It's actually one of my very favorite. Just saying it out loud makes me salivate. But being that we have the energy of Aquarius and it's creative, it's innovative, and knowing what they want, and they're willing to work to get it, even if it takes a blow, you know, they have a, you have to get in the flow of patience and persistence. And they're kind of known as deep thinkers who really aren't really expressing themselves at the best. Sometimes they appear aloof. They don't communicate very well. It's often easier to read body language to tell when they're upset about something or something's making them feel a certain way. But Ylang Ylang, you know, just literally saying that out loud. Oh, it's a scent that's fruity to add to the mix. It kind of has a zen-like aroma. You can put it in a diffuser. It's derived from this star-shaped flower. There were some open, but this one just felt juicier than the other images. But it's tropical. It's a tropical tree. It's used mostly for perfumes, aromatherapy. That's when I was first introduced to it. Similar to jasmine, another one of my favorites, but it's been used for centuries in spiritual and wedding ceremonies. It just creates a calm, positive atmosphere. It's been used in hair and skin and, you know, scents. It's nourishing. It's protective. We could add a little bit to our bath with Epsom salt or just alone, really. We can use it to steam our skin, you know, over a pot of hot water. We can wear it as perfume. It's very aromatic. But being that our throat center is online, our ClairAudience, I don't know if you gathered that through the whole thing. ClairAudience is totally online today. Our inner and our outer voice. So it's blues from the shades of the heart, green, to the blue, and shades of the blue out into our third eye. So really the sky is the limit when it comes to the shades of blue, literally. And the moon, again, being in the sign of Scorpio and the ruler being Pluto, it's our boundaries might be getting recalibrated as well, or upcycled at the very least. Actually, they are. And the vibration of our emotions are ascending to a new energetic system, with our belief channel getting a new kind of subscription, if you will. It's time to subscribe. It's our awareness. It's time to face our fears, those outdated subscriptions, right? So it really is possible. Anything really is possible endlessly. At least I believe so. So be radical and just show up for yourself to upcycle that subscription. Meditate on the magical being that truly resides within you, your own spiritual essence. We are the one who is in charge of our own sacred space. So it's kind of like, what color is your village? What color is your sacred heart? You know, what color comes in? So it's time to get our physical on, if you will, and manifest or bring our essence into the earth plane. Being that we are spiritual beings having an earthly experience, you know, everybody wants to ascend, and I get it. I truly do. But sometimes to ascend, we have to descend. So it's time to really let our light shine on in the village, getting our brilliance on, and just opening up to receive from the galactic juice, the star bank account, the pie in the sky, in spirit, where thoughts of our own worth to ourselves are opening up, and the universe is sending down these galactic waves. So I would really affirm that I am open to receiving the galactic juice of radical change and transformation, and be the spark. Fire is really online. So it's like, how does your fire flow? And just be ready to answer the call, if you will. We're in a fire year in the Dagara cosmology. If you're feeling the call there, I'm going to be talking about all of that and so much more in Voices of the Otherworld, my immersion, Saturday. So gratitude for tuning in, liking and sharing and commenting. I'll pull a card for you ladies tomorrow, and I'll see you on the other side. As always, blessings to you.